everybody. It's about 6 o'clock in the morning. We're just getting ready to start chopping some hay again today. Hopefully finish off this bag. They're talking rain the next couple days. It's supposed to be really nice today. So hopefully we can get this finished off. We don't have a huge amount left, but there's plenty to do for today. I suppose we're probably 3/4 of a bag. So me and Paul went and cut yesterday. We got about 20 acres down. It's not super heavy hay, so I think we're going to double rake it together, rake two together, and see what we can get done here. I'm hoping to get going early. Well, we got some dew on because it's supposed to be really sunny today, so I think that hay is going to dry fast. Excuse me, and I don't want it to get too dry for the bag. We did have a little bit of trouble, not yesterday, the day before. We had a breakdown on the 790 chopper. I'll show you that. So we pulled the old 400 Gale out of the weeds, and that's been doing the chopping. So I'll show you what broke on the 790, and then we'll go take a look at the 400, and we'll see that in action today. All right, so here's our 790, and I was having, from the time we started chopping this year, and I've even noticed it a little bit in the corn last year, it didn't seem like it was feeding like it should. Just real low capacity. I would shear these small shear pins for the feed rollers. It didn't seem like it took a huge amount to do that, to shear them. Not for what this chopper should be capable of, because with that old 400, I'm chopping circles around what I was doing with this, and that's not, that shouldn't be the case. But anyway, I was trying to finish up on the field over here. I had just a little bit left. I was trying to baby it through, and it sheared. I thought it sheared the pins again because it plugged, as you can see. But we'll go around the back. It actually didn't shear the pins that time. I was trying to reverse the clog out and widen this out a little. It wound up breaking this tensioner for this main chain that runs around everything. Where it's welded to the frame, it broke that off. So this was just floating around in here. So, and I was looking, it doesn't look like it broke the frame. You can kind of see down in here. But it also does not look like it was a very good weld. I think it's welded on both sides, but so anyway, from what the research that I've done, when it starts shearing those pins like that, it means that you're most likely have a lot of wear on your feed rollers, especially the rear upper one. This front upper one looks good, I think, but the rear upper one and then the lower front one has actually got a fair bit of wear on it too. Let's see if I can get this open here. And we were looking at the rear upper, and that's pretty worn, so I'm thinking that's our issues. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're supposed to look like when they're new, but a lot of these teeth are starting to bend over. So what happens is when that material's coming in, this is just sliding over it. It's not pulling it into the knives. There's also a smooth roller below this, and then there's a scraper on there, and they say that if that's worn, that can cause a lot of trouble too. So I think what I'm going to do is replace this roller and the scraper, and probably even the lower front roller, because that's also getting pretty bad. I contacted a place called the Chopper Shop in Colby, Wisconsin. They make pretty much all the parts for this chopper, and I think this rear roller was like 300 and some bucks. The front one was like 5 something, and you know, the scraper or whatever wasn't much. So I think that's what we're going to do, but I want to get that tensioner welded back on first and make sure that that's all going to work right before I buy rollers for this. But you can let me know in the comments if you've had that issue, if that makes sense. And to me it makes sense because the feed roller underneath this one is completely a smooth roller. So this one, I would imagine, has to be in pretty good shape to pull that material through. So So anyway, that's why we're using the 400 now. So we'll go take a look at that. So here we got the old Gale on the 1256. Actually been chopping some with it already. You've seen this chopper. Last fall we used it for chopping our straw, and I've used it in some other videos for blowing straw into the barn and stuff. But yeah, it just keeps on ticking along. I was gonna actually scrap this chopper out a few years ago, and this thing actually was years ago wound up getting parked and was kind of a parts machine because the sharpener had been robbed off of it, a couple other things, and I needed a chopper one year when I had a Gale 1000 that broke down, and I grabbed this out of the weeds, and we took a grinder and just sharpened the knives up, and it's actually been coming in pretty handy, so I keep it around. I should put a sharpener back on it. I do have an old 600 that's parted out that I think has a good sharpener on it, but it's not the main chopper, but it definitely is coming in handy, that's for sure. So hopefully it holds together to get this bag finished off, and hopefully get us through the oats. It won't be too long, we'll be chopping those oats, and I don't think I'll have the 790 going yet by then, so hopefully this one keeps on rolling. One thing I suppose I should address, I usually always get asked about it, is why the roofs on these wagons are slid back. Years ago we used to have a grinder attachment for our new idea picker for making high moisture ear corn, and we used the chopper boxes, so we had to slide the roof back to accommodate the auger on that picker so it didn't hit. So we moved the front brace back and then slid the tin back, and well, doing that for a little while, the tin got beat up, and I don't use that thing anymore. I don't even have the picker anymore, so I need to get new tin and move that forward and get the roofs fixed on it. But it's kind of one of those things that hasn't been a top priority. These wagons get used so little, you kind of forget about it. But I know some people have said, well, you're going to rot the floor out in the front. We do oil these pretty well. And right at the front of the wagon, I mean, these, I don't have a shed to put these in, so the front couple feet of the wagon get rain and snow and everything in them regardless, so I'm not too concerned about that. But I would like to get them fixed. They are getting, the tin's coming loose again. It's starting to vibrate back, so it is something I need to get addressed. But that's why they are slid back, is when we had that picker. So I just thought I'd mention that because I always get asked about why they're slid back. All right, so this is the field we're down here on. Not super heavy hay, but it's pretty decent stuff. A lot of Timothy, a lot of trefoil in there. I'm putting 2 together. I could maybe put 3 together, but I don't know. We're just gonna go with 2. Turn Jordan loose on the rake. It works nice, can just kick one onto the other one, and I don't have to rake it, so I can still do 2 together with 1 pass. I don't know, maybe I should have him put 3. I hate to get with that old chopper with that bigger tractor on there, I hate to get too much going in there. I think we'll just leave it at 2, that's good enough. You might be asked why I'm not using the V-rake. When we're doing the chopping, I like to use the bar rake just because it drags, it's not dragging on the ground, so you're not pulling in dirt and sticks and stuff as much. This is a little more gentler to handle the hay without pulling stuff out of the ground. In the baler, it's not such a big deal, but with the chopper knives, a little bit of dirt and stuff that gets in there can really dull them out. So Well, we got the 806 hauling wagons. I got the parking brake adjusted up on it, so that seems to be holding now. I still did put a block behind the wagon to start with, just to make sure I got it set right, but it seems to be holding good. So, because we're bagging kind of uphill here, so it's kind of vital that I have that working. But yeah, so that works nice, because where we're coming from now, it's a pretty good hill up the road to get here, and I don't think the old Oliver would have enough traction for that, but this worked good. So we're going to 10 warm up a little bit and we'll start bagging.